toxic.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Throttle YouTube channel. My name is Quinn, and today we're going to be working on our 2020 Honda Civic Type R. In the previous videos, we added an MBRP exhaust system, got this thing sounding right, and we added full suspension bracing by Cusco, sway bars, KW V3 coilovers, a set of TSW wheels, and Falcon RT660 tires. Got this thing handling really nice, and now it's time for some power adders. To start off, we have a Mishimoto intercooler, so this is a much bigger unit than the factory intercooler. It also comes with piping to replace the factory stuff, so this is going to be much better for heat management from an air intake side. This thing is beefy compared to the stock one. It's going to add about 10 wheel horsepower and about 10 wheel torque. We also have an air intake system by Mishimoto. This intake system is about 50% better flowing than the factory intake, and it's going to result in about 20 wheel torque and about 16 wheel horsepower. So all this is going to add a nice pep and power to this car, make the drivability a lot better. We also have a titanium turbo blanket by Mishimoto, and that's going to help with the heat management. Now, when you start tracking these cars and really pushing them hard, they have a tendency to fall in the cooling system department and run hot. So a lot of these components are going to help with that, especially when it comes to delivering power under high temperature. We are going to be adding a Mishimoto race cooling system to this car in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Quick reminder, this is our current sweepstakes car, so every dollar you spend on throtl.com is going to get you one entry to win this car plus $20,000 of cash. Let's get the Civic Type R on the rack. I'm gonna start by taking the factory airbox off, kind of get this up out of the way, and then we can go to removing this panel, and then we can slowly work to get the front bumper off. So let's get into it. I just took our TSW wheels off, so now I'm gonna get this front bumper off so we can start working on the front mount intercooler. Now you can actually get the first look at our stock intercooler here. It has a little bit of a weird flange setup. So instead of having like a coupler, it's bolted, kind of like a very German style. So that's why they come with a pipe kit as well, because you're replacing the pipe that leads into the cooler and the pipe that comes out of the cooler. So let's get this off, and then we can compare it with our new Mishimoto, which I can tell already is way bigger.
So weird.
Yeah, it's got like O-ring gaskets. How funky, man.
I mean, that's not a bad size intercooler though.
No, it's not terrible.
Oh, compared
But
to
it's
that,
not
though.
that. Holy crap.
Yeah.
That is huge.
That's what she said.
That is a massive
This
difference.
is the business right here. Oh my god. That's like double the size in width
That's what she said.
and tall too.
We have our friends from Opalite Optics here to install the awesome Starry headliner. You guys love this in the STI, and this thing has a nice dark interior, so we thought it would look awesome in the CTR as well. So let us know what you got here, buddy.
What's going on, man? So I'm Antonio from Opalite Optics. We're gonna do a 550 star package as well as the shooting stars,
Oh,
because
yeah,
they look
those
great in the
are rad.
Subaru.
Yeah.
But besides that, we're gonna get to work, and yeah, let's get this thing rocking. We just are almost done taking the Honda Civic apart. When you do the Starlight headliner, there's a lot of things you gotta remove before you get the headliner out, but just take a look. Sometimes you're gonna be sweating, I'll tell you what. All right, guys, so the headliner is almost ready to come out. The reason we are gonna pull the headliner and making sure everything's out of the car because we don't want the headliner to crease, which is pretty common on these Hondas because the material isn't foam back. If it does crease, a good solution to that is changing the material to suede. That way you can prevent things, plus suede just looks awesome. All right, so now it's time for the suede. So we got our glue here, we got our suede headliner material and our headliner. We got to get this thing rocking. we just finished the 550 star package as well as shooting stars on this 2020 Honda Civic Type R. Time to show you the magic, right? Go ahead and turn it on, put an accessory. Boom! The suede headliner came out amazing. All 550 stars are working, as well as the shooting stars. And not just that, the best part about this is when we turn it off, it looks like there's nothing there. But then boom, back in business. Cool thing about this package is it comes with music mode. It comes with every single color you can think of. And not just that, it also comes with the Bluetooth app on your phone that you can control. So besides that, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and DM us if you need an estimate at Opal Eye Optics on Instagram.
So we have our factory intercooler off. Now we're going to tackle the charge piping. So the Mishimoto intercooler actually replaces the hot side and the cold side from pretty much the throttle body all the way to the turbo. So we got to get these, which are our little factory charge pipes, off out of the way, and then we can start installing our Mishimoto parts. We have all the stock charge piping that we're going to be replacing out, minus one little bit I need to get out still. But you can see these are our Mishimoto upgrades. There's a big difference at the outlet where the intercooler meets. Much more airflow through these, which is going to be really nice. And they're a little bit lighter, and they're not rubber, which is what this is. So these are going to be much more resilient material over time than the factory equipment is. So let's start putting these things in. So before I get the intake on, I want to actually get our titanium turbo blanket on. So we're going to take the factory one off, which requires removing the O2 sensor, and then we'll start putting the shiny new bits on. So I just got our Mishimoto turbo blanket set in place. We still have to run our springs, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this piece. This piece is much better at retaining heat and keeping heat from dissipating out of the engine bay. So made of volcanic lava rock and silica fiber, which is much better than just a standard steel plate at keeping the heat. The point of the turbo blanket is to keep the heat in the turbo and not from radiating else outwhere, especially like here. So this is our intake charge pipe. This comes from the intake into the turbo, and if this pipe is hot, then your air going into the turbo is getting hot, and then the air out of the turbo is going to be even hotter. So this keeps the bay temps down, it'll keep your intake temps cooler, and keep the power in the engine, which is what you want. So Mishimoto makes a lot of really cool products, especially for these cars. So whether you have a Type R or an SI, this turbo blanket will fit. It fits 2015 and up. Very beautiful piece. Head over to throtl.com if you want to pick one up for your own car. Let's get this thing finished installed, get our springs on, and move on to our intake system.
You got a spring back there. Where are you going with that?
So it's got these little clips. There's one right here. So this is going to wrap on like kind of like that, and then this will come down and grab the underside. So on the underside there's two as well. So you have one on the left side, one on the right side, and this spring is going to attach to both and kind of pull the turbo blanket around the turbo and hold it in place better.
Whoa, what happened? Car's in the air, what happened?
So I'm gonna not take the downpipe off, but I'm gonna take the mounts for the downpipe off, take it off the back of the turbo, and kind of squeak it to the side so I can get under the turbo a little bit easier to route those springs because my hands are too big to fit under there.
Wait, you're gonna do what again?
We're gonna take these mounts off.
No, we're gonna unbolt the turbo. I just want to see that. I just want to see that.
Then the downpipe's on the turbo, and it's gonna go, and then I'll go, and then I'll get under there and spring it up. We'll be jamming. So our Mishimoto titanium turbo blanket is done. It's installed. Get that up out of here. Now we're gonna move into our beautiful Mishimoto intake system. Looks fantastic and actually uses a lot of OEM style brackets, and we're actually gonna take a lot of OEM stuff off of the stock airbox, which is big and dusty and ugly, and actually utilize the mounting points of this with a new Mishimoto intake system. So it has a bunch of brackets, very nice fitment, and they have a beautiful instruction manual online to help us with the install. So let's get this thing on. this pieces together, that's gonna go like bam, and then this is gonna go bam, and then that goes in the car, and then we just gotta mount that, and then boom, intake. So this is the mass airflow sensor. So pretty typical, came off the standard air intake. So this meters air going through the intake system. And then I believe this is, I wanted to say this is a PCV valve, but it looks like it goes straight through. So this has like a couple of vacuum ports on it that were factory, which are these guys right here. So wherever this, so there's a check valve there. So I'm guessing that's PCV, and then this is going to the valve cover. So this is definitely a PCV valve of some sort, even though it might not be a one-way check valve. So that's gonna go there, and that's gonna go on like that. And then that's pretty much it. That's the intake system minus the heat shield. So that's a box that's going to keep the, not only protect the air filter from the outside elements, but kind of keep the heat down in the engine bay. So we got to mount this up, put that guy in there, and this is going to come in and go boom, something like that. And then we'll have our intake. Except that's upside down. It'll be like that.
That's beautiful.
You like that?
It's very nice.
You know, we love to use Downstar bolts on our builds, so we threw some stainless steel bolts with some aluminum beauty washers on there. This thing's gonna look real nice. So the original mass airflow loom kind of actually ran like this across the top of the airbox. To make room for the bigger air filter, it can't sit the way it did, plus having it out of the way is a much cleaner look. So Mishimoto actually thought of this and gave us some loom, which is what this is. So we're gonna take the factory loom off, and we're gonna replace this hard mount loom with the braided soft loom, and then we're gonna run that under the airbox here and then out into our mouth connector so you won't even see it. Give it a much nicer, cleaner look, and gets rid of this nasty, ugly harness looking thing up front. So the Mishimoto air intake is 50 state legal, and it comes with a beautiful little carb placard, which is what Mickey's putting on right now. We have our air intake system fully installed. We got our front mount intercooler buttoned up, and our beautiful titanium turbo blanket by Mishimoto is on. So this is gonna give the car a much better feel to it. It's gonna sound a little bit better. We're gonna get some better induction noise, and it's gonna add some power due to better cooling and better heat efficiency through the engine. Very beautiful looking stuff. The last thing we need to do is put the front end of the car, but we're not gonna do that yet because we have more modifications for this car coming, and you guys will have to see that in the next video. So don't forget, this is our current sweepstakes car. Every dollar you spend on throtl.com is gonna get you one entry to win this car plus $20,000 in cash. So head out over, pick up some merch, pick up some car parts, pick up some Mishimoto parts for your own car, get your car sounding better and running cooler, making more power. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.